Hi, my name is Carly, and today I want to talk about the union with Christ and kind of what that means to me and also how it affects my personal testimony. First, just to start out, I didn't really understand a lot of what the union with Christ meant, or I knew what it was, but didn't really know what to call it until this week and last week when we learned about it from different readings. And my favorite reading, and what I thought that helped explain it the best, was in the excerpt that we read from Luther from the Freedom of a Christian, and the last point that he really had to say about a benefit of faith was about how Christ is the church is Christ's bride, and how we're kind of united in a relationship that's similar to marriage, as Christ will bear our burdens and just kind of have that relationship, like the same intimate relationship that a husband and wife share, is the relationship that we can have with Christ as well. And even though human marriages are not even the best example of that, because of course two humans, we're flawed people, and Christ is obviously not. So even marriage does not even compare to what a union with Christ should look like, because he's perfect and we are not as humans. But a verse that kind of backs that up to go along with it comes from Ephesians, and it's Ephesians 5:31 and 32. It says, "For the man shall leave his father and mother, and shall be joined to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh." This mystery is great, but I am speaking with reference to Christ and the church. So again, this kind of just sums up what a union with Christ is, how it's the most important relationship that we can have, and that it's what happens when we are joined to Christ in salvation. We become his, he becomes ours, and nothing can ever separate that. So kind of how it's been encouraging to me in my Christian walk. I became a Christian when I was 8. I went to clean the church with my mom, and we were really close with at when we were at that church with the pastor and his wife there. And so we were going there to clean on a Saturday, and I remember talking to the pastor and his wife, and they were kind of just showing me, or leading me, I guess, through a tract. And I realized that I needed a savior, and came home with my mom later that day, and we talked more about it a little bit, and then I decided to accept Christ as my savior. So I did that when I was 8 in July. And sometimes, because I was only 8 years old, I doubted my salvation, because I never really understood, or I don't know that I fully understood at that age what it really meant to be a Christian, and what I was doing. I knew that I needed a savior, but I don't know that I understood everything. But I have grown a lot since then in my relationship with God, with not only different schools that I've attended, but through church camps. And when I was in high school, I went to a Christian school, so the friends that I made there, who were constantly, and still do, pour into me and encourage me every day, and the teachers that I had there that I still keep in contact with, also encouraging me, and just everything was Christ-centered, kind of as it is at Cedarville. Cedarville is just kind of a bigger and better version of my high school. Time periods in my life, to be surrounded by godly people who would help me out with that. So that was great. Um, but I, like I said, I went through a lot of phases of doubting, but I guess when that really stopped was last year, because I was, praying and knowing there were just different family issues that were going on in my life in that time, and just giving everything to God and fully trusting Him, and knowing that nothing else can complete me except for my relationship with Him. And Jesus is the only one who can ever fully fill any void in my heart, in my life. No family or relationship or friendship or job or anything can do that besides Him. So that was just something that was really always comforting to me. And when I fully realized that, it made my union with Christ so much deeper, just because I know that I can fully rely on Him and only Him, and nothing else can really get me through this life besides that. And so that was just something that was really encouraging to me, knowing that He would always bear my burdens, and that He is mine and I am His, and I'm united with Christ through my salvation. Another verse that I came across that I really liked comes from 1 Corinthians. It's 1 Corinthians 6:17, and it says, "But the one who joins himself to the Lord is one spirit with Him." And so that really just sums up that I am joined with the Lord. So we are one, similarly to a marriage where the two become one. That's the same thing in my union with Christ, even though it's just the most significant relationship that I'll ever have. And just knowing that I can fully trust him and that he bears my burdens and that he's everything that I would ever need is something that's really encouraging to me, and that I try to make my prayer every single day is just to give everything to God, even though that's a lot easier said than done. But yeah, that's just something that's encouraged me. So I hope that was encouraging to you too. But thank you for listening. Have a good day.